Just let me make sure I have the trailer here for Fly Me to the
Yeah,
Moon, and you can go ahead and give your review of that. I was not able to see it.
that's fine.
Oh yeah, good old Fly Me to the. That's the name of the song, ain't it? Frank Sinatra.
Yes, fly me to the moon.
Do they play that in the movie?
Of course they do.
Okay, of course.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Good old yeah. To the moon, Alice. Yeah, good old wife beating joke. Do they make from the honeymooners? They make that joke in there?
Uh, not quite.
Oh,
They do. There is quite a bit of joking in here. This is more of a romantic comedy than anything else, with some drama elements.
yeah. Well, I mean, honeymooners was a romantic thing too. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
back before the world got all woke, you used to make fun of beating your wife.
You could, and it would actually be kind of funny.
Good old there. So Dusk. What are your thoughts on Fly Me to the Moon?
Fly Me to Moon stars Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum as part of the 1960s space race between the United States and the Soviet Union. Channing Tatum's character is a director for NASA, and he's in charge of the Apollo 11 launch, and he's doing the best he can to get the people off the ground. Meanwhile, Scarlett Johansson is the beautiful Kelly Jones, a marketing ex specialist who specializes in different fields, and they two meet outside of work, and they hit a spark. Before the romantic kindling gets started, though, Apollo 11 starts getting into some issues, and Apollo 11's director decides to want to get more involvement to get it just in case this Apollo 11 procedure doesn't quite go to it, and happens to hire Kelly Jones to become a marketing specialist for a company. And she comes in, and her big assignment by the director is to, just in case they can't succeed, make a backup fake moon landing. That's the premise. The push and pull between Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson, their budding romance, the differences of what their job permits, the people that she's bringing in with her directors and actors, and and trying to maintain a secrecy between the two of them, and the butting heads between what they both believe in and what they're both positions of, and what Channing Tatum wants to focus on actually getting them to the moon. Scarlett Johansson has to focus on making sure that, just in case it doesn't go well, the American people can still believe in something and that they save NASA's public image.
Mm, okay.
Also stars Ray Romano as Henry Smalls, who is one of the lead scientists for the NASA program, and Woody Harrelson is the director, called Mo Burkus, with some smaller supporting characters throughout it. But those are the main, and Jim Rash is Lance. But honestly, most of it is spent between Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, and occasionally Woody Harrelson and Ray Romano.
Mm, okay. I've heard kind
Mhm.
of mixed things about it. I've heard it's just average, and that Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum really don't have that much chemistry together. Besides being two obviously really attractive people, being gorgeous people as they are, they don't really have much chemistry together. What's your opinion on that?
Scarlett Johansson in some of the 1960s outfits, there are just certain moments when she just turns and looks at the camera, and you're just, God, you're stunning. You absolutely could have made it in the 1960s era, would have been great. Even in that era, she wears the outfits extremely well,
Mhm.
and she gives a great performance. Channing Tatum wears his outfits well. He's very charismatic, and he also just has this air of charisma and you just likable energy. Together, they never quite, ironically, stick the landing.
Mhm.
There are moments, fleeting moments, where some chemistry is building between the two, but it never quite settles. Unfortunately, as much as I kind of wanted to like this movie, it leans a little too heavy on the comedy. So when the drama comes in, it doesn't quite undercut. It doesn't quite it just doesn't work. It's too much of a mix between a comedy and a dramedy, as I say.
Mm.
More focuses on being a romantic comedy, focusing more on slapstick, occasional throwing of characters, a lot of bombastic nature. The script felt very old school. This would have fit probably 20 years ago, kind of where God, like 21 Dresses, or when there were just so many of these rom-coms coming out.
With
They would have fit
Kate Hudson
snugly
and
among them.
Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl, this would have fit right in that era of Katherine Heigl rom-coms. This is better than many of those, but it still feels like that era of rom-com, which for a certain audience, honestly, is not that bad. It doesn't do anything too offensive. It's the actors, especially Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, is easy on the eyes. They say their lines. They've got charisma and charm. It's and the I would say the environment and the details, the camera angles is pretty all right. The details of the 1960s and the period piece, they do fairly well with the costumings, the car, and the locations. I appreciated them going to different locations. It wasn't always just the same corridor, NASA corridor, but a lot of it ends up honestly just being within the fake moon base and NASA labs or NASA area, with a few occasionally being on the streets or outside of NASA.
Mhm. And this is directed by Greg Berlanti. Greg Berlanti, he does a lot of the CW stuff. He did
This
stuff
felt a lot like that.
like Supergirl, DC Legend. He produces a lot of the stuff. Sometimes he'll write maybe I think some of the episodes for it.
Yeah,
Um,
this felt
direct,
very television esque.
directing wise, he's also done Love Simon, which I like that movie actually.
That was pretty good.
I actually like Love Simon. I thought
Yeah, Love
that was
Sound was
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
The whodunit of LGBTQ movies. Who's the
Mm.
gay? As they were trying to discover in that movie. So I thought that was kind of funny, a little bit there. So yeah, so I did like that that he did there. So he's the one directing this.
Oh
So
yes.
Fly Me to the Moon. There, what would be your rating for it?
For a certain audience that wants a pretty simple, not too complicated movie that kind of reminds them of a simpler time and two gorgeous actors playing their part, doing a good job, and with a cast of talented character actors and simple environments. I think this meets that need. A lot of people have been looking for maybe kind of blast from the past, going back and getting simpler movies, less I would say cynical movies. And this movie's not cynical, despite its subject matter on being about the fake moon landing. It ultimately is more of a focus on the difference between marketing and the scientists trying to make it actually happen, and ultimately focus on the well, this might have been a just in case, and them going all in, ultimately having faith in humanity to actually reach their goal. And it's a pretty simple message, but for the audience, I think this would be a solid watch. I think I can give this a solid stream. It doesn't break any new ground, but it is you're looking for a movie that doesn't challenge too much and is just kind of fun to watch, and especially on a date movie or something like this. This is a pretty solid date movie. It's not a bad choice.
Okay. So stream it for Fly Me to the Moon. There.
Yeah,
That
it's a
was a pretty
solid.
long movie. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That's the thing. If this was
Jeez.
90 minutes, I could have it almost would have brought it up to a low tune in, because it's like, yeah, it's 90 minutes, you can get it, yeah. But it was the fact it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's where it really kind of yeah, no, this is a stream it. This is a date night movie. If you're gonna go out and go with your girl or your guy,
Mm, yeah.
you gotta know
Yeah.
about that ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think romantic comedy dramedy should be 2 hours and
They should be 90-minute, 85,
40 minutes.
90-minute max.
Yeah. Well. So, yeah. So Dusk for Fly Me to the Moon gives it a stream it.